Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Shavi Zane. I'm glad that you all could join me again. For those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. So today I'm having a discussion with the 144,000, the chosen. I just want to do an update to see what's happening with our energy at this time collectively and, just go over some things that we might need to work on. Um, and so I'm feeling like right now, we need to work on our security. I feel like security is a major factor for the 144,000 at this time. Feeling secure, feeling like we're safe, feeling as if we are where we need to be, and not being in this energy of feeling lack mentality or feeling as if we don't have enough. Our security right now, I feel, is very important for us. I feel that there's a strong need for us to step outside of our comfort zone, okay? That is what's actually going to help us to restore balance and to move towards our success. Because right now, I feel like there's a hesitancy to do something different, to do something outside of the norm, outside of the mundane or what you have been accustomed to doing based on your upbringing, outside influences, other people's expectations of you. So there's definitely a need for you to step into, this will be about your north node energy, okay? So north node energy will indicate that higher level of consciousness, moving into that higher level of understanding, stepping outside of who you are accustomed to being, okay, and moving into who you was created to be here in this lifetime, all right? And so I feel that stepping outside of your comfort zone looks like doing something completely new, something that feels very unfamiliar, but is actually going to take you towards your success. And so if you're faced right now with a decision to make, if you're at a crossroads in terms of which way to go, if you're trying to make a decision in terms of your career, your love life, friendships, family members, whatever the case may be, I feel that whatever takes you outside of what you are accustomed to is actually what's going to be leading you down your divine path. Okay? And so that's not, it doesn't have to be hard, but it really just depends on the way that you see things, all right? Because if you're seeing it from a surface level, if you're seeing it from what's there in front of you in the physical, then it is going to cause you to say, no, I can't step outside of my comfort zone. There's no way that I can walk away from this career because if I do that, then what will I have? If I do that, then how am I going to make ends meet? But you're being called to step outside of your comfort zone because there's something about that comfort zone that's not so comfortable, okay? Because if it was, you wouldn't be at a crossroads. You wouldn't be questioning whether or not you're headed down the right path. There's something about where you're at this time that is not exactly in alignment with where it is that you desire to be or where your soul is calling for you to go. And so if you have yet to make that transition towards your divine purpose and step away from something that's no longer serving you, then it's time for you to take the leap of faith forward and to make that move because you're being called to do that. And you will be moving towards success. I feel like there's a lot of old cycles that's closing out for the 144,000 at this time, and we're being called to step into our creative nature, our natural gifts, our creative abilities, whatever your purpose is, um, whatever your contribution is to humanity, you're being asked to step into that and to strongly listen to your intuition, allowing that to guide you towards wherever it is you're supposed to be going. Because I feel like you all are being given nudges, you're being given intuitive nudges in terms of what this looks like for you. And so now it's time for you to start listening to it because you're going to have positive movement forward towards your success, okay? There's going to be balance restored here. Now, if this is concerning your love life, then just know that you are also being asked to step outside of your comfort zone in regards to that as well, okay? And so if you find that you have still if you still haven't let go of toxic people or karmic people from your past, then yes, you are being guided to move away from that so that you can go towards calmer waters and move towards things that's more emotionally fulfilling. Because when you do that, you will find that that is actually an act of self-love. And so you are actually telling you're putting the energy out into the universe that you would like to attract to you that which would the same amount of love that you give to yourself. You are attracting that type of person to you. But when you hold on to people that do not serve you, people, places, or things that do not serve you, then you are putting the energy out into the universe that you desire more of that type of energy. Whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously, that's what you're putting out there. So you want to be very cognizant of that as you proceed forward. And so there's this energy of being tempted to go back into this conflict. It's like conflicting energy within your mind in regards to where you're supposed to go. And I feel like it's causing a lot of emotions. Emotions are running high because you're wondering, especially for those of you, if you've already stepped into your purpose, if you stepped into your divine path, you might be highly emotional in terms of, is this really the way that I'm supposed to be going? You might be questioning yourself or working against your own intuition in regards to that. Okay. And so you might be highly emotional. And so right now, there's adjustments that need to be made in that area. There's adjustments that needs to be made in terms of you trusting your inner voice, trusting that you intuitively know that you are being divinely guided, okay, and that these messages are not coming into you for no reason, okay, but you have to listen to what's coming in so that you can proceed forward. And so the adjustments that need to be made is basically you listening to your inner voice and taking the steps that's necessary for you to move towards your divine path and purpose. Okay, so if you're putting in work right now, if you're focused in on something that you know you're being guided to do at this time, your hard work is paying off. Okay, it is not in vain. What you are putting out there and what you are doing, especially when you're doing it from a space of love and compassion, integrity, and when you know that you are doing it to bring good to humanity or for the better good of other people, then you know that your hard work is paying off. And so when I started in the beginning, I was talking about security. And so if this is dealing with you feeling as if you're not secure financially based on what you're doing, I like to tell people that always consider that what you do is never in vain and that you always do receive reward for the seeds that you plant. You might not receive the reward the in the measure from which you put it out there, okay, but you will receive equal or greater reward in return based on the intention of the works that you're doing. Okay, so in other words, if you're doing something for humanity but you're not necessarily seeing your reward in monetary reward, okay, you're not seeing monetary payment for it, okay, or at least to the degree that you desire, then just know that it's not in vain and that you've already placed that beautiful energy out into the universe and that you will be blessed for it, okay? The Most High sees all things, okay? Everything happens in divine timing and in divine order. And sometimes, we have to come forward first from a space of love and compassion without putting great emphasis on material expectation, okay? When you're stepping into your divine purpose should first be solely centered around love, compassion, bringing balance, healing, whatever your purpose is to humanity, especially when we're talking about the 144,000 here, okay? That should be the center of where your purpose is coming from, what you're giving, okay? It should be coming from a space of love. And so when it's coming from a space of love, then know that you're going to receive in the same measure that love that you've put out there. And that reward can look like people doing things for you from a space of love. Unexpected things that come to you because of what you're putting out there. This could be monetarily. You can actually be receiving more peace in your life because of the works that you're doing. And peace is actually something that can't be, you can't buy peace, okay? Or some people think they can, but peace is something that you have from within. And so there's different measures of reward that you get based on the works that you're doing. So don't never think that what you're doing and the hard work that you're putting in is not paying off, because it is, okay? Some of you are in a position where you have to be like a communicator. You have to communicate a lot with people, okay? Maybe your divine purpose is to communicate, to use your voice to help others. And so you're being encouraged to continue to use your ability to communicate. And I feel like you also need to listen to your intuition more in terms of those things that you're being guided to speak. Okay. And when your emotions are running high in terms of whether or not your hard work is paying off, you want to do what's necessary to try to pull yourself back a little bit from the work and then get yourself back balanced and centered using your spiritual strength. Okay, your spiritual strength is what's going to help to hold you up and keep you secure. Because if you find yourself too engulfed in the physical and just constantly working, and looking for whatever your reward is or your gain is, then you're working against your purpose. Because this is all about we're spirits having a human experience. We have to keep that at the forefront of our minds in everything that we do so that we understand that everything is about lessons, it's about evolving, it's about healing, and it's about showing love, bringing balance, restoring balance into humanity, into the world, okay? And so when you keep that at the forefront of everything that you do, then you want to maintain a certain level of balance in the amount of work that you're putting in versus the amount of work that you're putting in internally. So if you find yourself overwhelmed, or your emotions are running high because you just feel like, okay, my hard work, is it paying off? Is it paying off? Then your focus, is time to reshift. It's time to redirect your focus, because now you're beginning to get off focus on the mission and the purpose, which is to just do your works, put your works out there, and then you allow the Most High to determine how it's going to be rewarded back to you, rather than trying to put so much emphasis and focus in on, well, when is things going to pick up? It's almost like watching, it's almost like, let's just say you have a gift. Okay, let's just say pregnancy, for instance. I've done this multiple times. Let's just say pregnancy, for instance. You know that you've been blessed with this gift that's growing within you. Okay, we have males here, but you all understand the concept. Okay, you have this gift that's growing within you. So you have to have faith that the gift, the child that's being nurtured within you, is actually going to come out healthy, strong, happy, and all of these things, right? If you put too much emphasis on, well, I need to check and see. Let me double check to see if it's still growing. Let me double check to see if the heart is still beating, or if things is operating. If you're in that energy of constantly wondering if things are secure, if everything is safe, if the baby is safe, then you're putting an energy out there into the universe that says, I do not trust my path. I do not trust that the gift that I'm putting out here into the world is actually one that is useful. I do not trust that I'm going to actually be that what I'm doing is actually going to help humanity, because you're too busy looking for the reward. You're too busy checking in on the reward. So you have to pull yourself away from that and just do, freely do. And if you feel like you got to pressure yourself to actually get into it, then maybe it's time for you to step back and put that work into yourself for a time. Balance out your own spiritual strength before you jump back into whatever your gift is or whatever your contribution is to humanity. You want to make sure that you're balanced in all ways, balancing out spirituality and practicality. You want to balance out those two things, okay? And so I feel that, maybe some of y'all might be working into the late hours on whatever it is that you have been creating, or whatever it is that you are getting ready to give birth to into the world. And so make sure that you're getting enough rest, because I do feel that that's something that collectively we might be dealing with in terms of not being able to get enough sleep, okay? And so this is where that internal conflict is coming from, because there's a balance that needs to be restored within us so that we can make sure that whatever it is that we're putting out there for humanity, whatever creative gifts, whatever our gifts is, that is actually beneficial energetically, okay? Because this is all about, everything is energy, okay? Everything has a spiritual component to it, okay? And so you want to make sure that you're keeping staying focused on the actual goal, which is healing humanity and bringing balance back to humanity, not inciting more fear. Because if you're in the energy of, well, is it working? Is it actually helping people? Am I going to receive a reward for it? Then you're forgetting what the whole purpose, what this whole thing is all about. Because as I told you all in a past video, it's all about establishing the kingdom within before we can actually create the kingdom without. As within, so without. And so if you're unbalanced, or if you're off balance within, and you're so focused on the task, and whether or not the task is reaping reward, then you're working against the purpose. You're working against the collective purpose, okay? And so we have to come back together, get ourselves rebalanced, okay? And breathe, okay? and just know that we have to see this thing from a higher perspective. Do not, the veil has already been lifted, so we understand what's happening around us. We just have to make sure that we always have a conscious understanding of what's happening within us so that we don't get the two confused, okay? Because you can end up having, your emotions can be all over the place, and you can end up going backwards into your comfort zone. That's why I told you step outside of your comfort zone, because in your comfort zone you're used to being in that energy of survival mode and constantly trying to make sure that the physical, the material is in alignment, okay? And making sure that the bills is paid and all of these other things. You don't want to go back into that. Stepping outside of your comfort zone looks like rising higher, seeing this thing from a higher perspective, and knowing, not believing and not hoping, but knowing that you are taken care of, because what you are doing in your purpose, in your service to humanity, is actually to bring love and to restore balance and healing. And what you're not trying to project the energy of fear. That's what you don't want to do. You don't want to project the energy of insecurity, okay? And sometimes this can go back to childhood. Many changes that took place in childhood, because you might have had, a family where if your mother and father, many of the chosen seeds have the testimonies that we have is like beyond what the average person would have, okay? And so we have many things that we had to go through and grow through, okay, so that we could actually pull ourselves out of the matrix, because we had so many lessons that we had to learn and to overcome and to grow through, like I said. And so it's this energy of, if you ever felt like what you tried to do in your childhood was not noticed. You might have felt unheard or unnoticed in your childhood, as if maybe your parents did not see those things that you was trying to do. You might have always tried to do nice things or sweet things, but you might have felt unheard or unnoticed. You might have felt as if you never really received the reward for the good deeds that you was doing, okay? And so in adulthood, you may not connect the two. You may think, okay, well, I've completely removed myself from that, but there is still a cord. There is still an attachment there. Anytime you wonder, okay, my good works, my purpose, my gift, am I receiving the reward for it? Is it being noticed? Is anybody seeing me? Don't worry about that, because this is not about seeing the numbers. This is not about the quantity. This is about the quality and the actual intention behind what it is that you do, what it is that you contribute to humanity, okay? And so if it touches one person, then just know that in the spiritual realm, when the Most High sees that, you get great reward for those things that you do, even if it only helps one person in this time. Because that one person that you help can go on to have a purpose that actually inspires millions. And so if that one person can look back and say, well, if I had to say who actually influenced me and who actually gave me the courage and the empowerment to step into where I am today, and they mention your name, then now you can say that you helped one person to influence millions of people. And so in essence, you actually influence millions of people by helping one person. And so you don't want to worry about the numbers. You don't want to worry about the material gain that you're receiving for what you're doing. You don't want to worry about the likes or the subscribers and all of these different things, because trust me, I was there. At one point I was like, okay, well, what about, but then I had to remind myself, this is not about what you see in the physical. This is about rising above this and seeing this from a higher perspective, and understanding that we are here to do a great works. And the largest part of our assignment actually begins within us. And so if we're off balance internally because we're too focused on numbers or material gain, then we're not in our purpose, okay? We're not operating as one body to actually restructure this thing. So get yourselves in alignment internally and make sure that you maintain that balance there. And as you do that, you'll find that everything external to you will also become balanced as well. And so then at that point, you're going to be able to see the rewards of what it is that you do, because at that point, you're not focused on it. You're just allowing the baby to grow. And when the baby is ready to come forward, okay, that's when the baby is going to come. You have no real control over when your gift is actually going to come to you. But when it does come, you're going to receive great reward, and you're going to be very happy and overwhelmed with emotions, beautiful emotions, because you nurtured it. That's your only job right now. as the 144,000 chosen seed. The only position that we should be in is nurturing our gift, okay? Perfecting whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing, nurturing that thing, loving on it, putting loving energy out there, and continuing to maintain that within ourselves, okay? And so many of you are being called into roles of leadership, okay? You're being called to lead people into their towards their divine path. You're being called to usher in, a purity, a cleansing to humanity. Whatever your role is, okay, is getting ready to be something that brings a lot of, I feel like a lot of miracles, a lot of things that are unexpected is going to be coming to the 144,000, okay? So we're literally piercing through to the other side of something that humanity has not seen before. This is much greater than what we understand at this time, okay? And so this is why it's so important to step into your role as a leader. And if you find that there's something about you lacking the ability to communicate or not being able to fully speak your truth, then it's time for you to work on your throat chakra. Okay, there's many things that you can do to get a more balanced throat chakra, but you want to first start by listening to your intuition, because I feel strongly that if you're questioning, well, what is it that I'm supposed to be teaching to the world? What type of leadership role am I supposed to be stepping into? Then it's time for you to start getting balanced within, getting centered within, so that you can hear what messages are coming into you that's going to guide you. It's like your spiritual navigation guiding you towards your divine path, okay? And so, in terms of you want to make sure that you also stay in a space of feeling fulfilled in life in spite of what's happening around you, in spite of your current circumstances. It doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter what your place looks like, it doesn't matter what's going on with your love life. You want to make sure that you keep yourself in a space of feeling fulfilled in life, just knowing that you are here, just knowing that you have been blessed with the breath of life, and that you have been blessed with a divine purpose, that you have been hand selected with a divine purpose to bring balance to humanity. You want to stay in a space of fulfillment. Allow yourself to be free, okay, in that lighthearted energy. And I can say, for the past few days, I've had to get myself back balanced, okay, because I've definitely been over here working on my purpose, okay, strongly working on my purpose. And it has also had me in a space of mental conflict as well, to a degree. And I got to check myself. You always want to be in an energy of checking yourself, okay? Before somebody else can check you, you want to make sure that you know how to check yourself, because it's up to you. It's your responsibility to maintain that internal balance. No one else can do that for you. And so if you find yourself going off, or you find your emotions running high, or you find that you're feeling aggressive, or more angry, and you have to try to, reel it back in all the time, then that means that there is something that's lacking there. Maybe you need to get more rest. Maybe you need to get outside more. That's very important so that you can stay balanced. I always emphasize this. Maybe you need to do more praying, do more affirmations, okay? Speaking life into yourself, okay? Releasing negativity, okay? Write things down and burn them. I do that all the time. If I find that my mind is cluttered too much, I write them down and I burn it, with the intentions that as I burn it, I'm releasing it and it's no longer mine. So you want to make sure that you're always putting forth a conscious effort to rebalance yourself, especially if you find that you're suppressing a lot of things. You may not have a lot of people that you can actually express these things to, because I feel that the 144,000, the majority of us are in hermit mode, okay? We're loners right now. We don't have a lot of people that we can actually relate to in that way, because this path is the narrow is the way, okay? So that means not a lot of people can go, so you had to leave a lot of people behind in order to understand who you are and what you're here to do. And so this is why it's our responsibility as individuals to check ourselves in those moments where we find ourselves feeling overly aggressive or angry, or our emotions are too high in a negative way, or if we find that we're worried about security and concerned about money and worried about numbers and all of these different things. So it's important to get yourself back balanced and re-inspire yourself. Bring that zeal and that passion back into yourself, okay? You create the fulfillment of life within yourself by whatever it is that you allow yourself to be exposed to. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple of cards and see what else is coming out. But make sure that you're in a space. Don't feel insecure about your purpose. Know that you are good enough. Know that you was divinely created to do this. Whatever it is that you're being called to do, you was created to do it, okay? And so you're always good enough for it because it's your purpose. You cannot be good enough for it unless you're actually telling yourself that you're not good enough for it. Then that's when problems occur. So you want to continue to encourage yourself, motivate yourself, and know that this is your divine path, okay? You've been called to be a leader in whatever it is that you're doing, okay? And so let's see what else is coming out. What can I get here? So look at this. Keep sharpening your gifts and building your creative nature. Okay, that's what I was just talking about. Keep sharpening your gifts. Keep working on your gifts. Keep nurturing your gift. That baby that I was telling you about that you're pregnant with, male and female, okay? Whatever it is that you are pregnant with at this time, that gift, keep nurturing it. Keep feeding it, okay? And make sure that you're also nurturing yourself, because that gift can't be in alignment unless you're in alignment. So you got to remember that as a pregnant woman, that baby is not going to be healthy if you're feeding yourself, or if you're drinking, or if you're doing drugs or anything like that. Then the gift that you're bringing into the world, that baby, is not going to be healthy. So you want to continue to nurture yourself and continue to nurture and sharpen your gifts. So that's where you should be focused in at right now. Focused in on sharpening your gifts, perfecting your gifts. Okay. What else is coming out here? You have here, you need a physical detox. So that's what I just said that if you're, I don't know that you're necessarily drinking or doing any types of recreational drugs, or maybe even overeating a lot of, fast foods that's not so healthy. Sometimes we can find ourselves overcompensating in certain ways, especially if you don't have, a balanced love life, if you don't have a divine partner with you at this time, or if you don't have a lot of people to talk to or communicate with. Sometimes you can find yourself overindulging or trying to compensate for those things that you feel that you lack by indulging in habits, that are not so good for you. And so, you might need a physical detox at this time. Fasting for a few days, intermittent fasting is really good for us, okay, because it allows us to create self-discipline, and it also keeps the body free of a whole lot of buildup and toxins, okay? And so it's important for us to do physical detoxes on a regular basis. This says, detach from that external measure of pleasure. It is overstimulating you and blocking your creative nature. Isn't that what I was just saying? So if you have some sort of method of pleasure, okay, it can be sugar, it can be junk food, fast food, it can be actual alcohol, it can be, weed, whatever, sex. You want to detach from that because it's overstimulating you, and so your sacral chakra is being affected by whatever that could be, okay? Your sacral chakra is around your reproductive organs, and that's around the area where you would actually be creating your creative gift, where you would have an actual baby that would be, born, okay? And so the sacral chakra is being overstimulated. And so in order to rebalance that, you have to release yourself, or to at least balance out your exposure to whatever this external method of pleasure is. And you have to do what's necessary to find that pleasure within yourself, okay? So detoxing your body is actually going to help you with that, because when you detox your body, then you're actually telling your cells on a physical level, you're telling your cells that, or you're even telling yourself, your mind, that you don't have to have these things, okay? When you do things habitually, then your mind begins to believe, or your body begins to believe, that you have to have these things in order to feel pleasure, in order for that dopamine to be released. And so then when it doesn't feel that, you end up having withdrawal symptoms, okay? And you end up feeling angry or aggressive or, stressed out. And then your emotions end up being all over the place, because your body is now fiending for that thing that you constantly go to in order to create that external method of pleasure. And so because of that, your sacral chakra ends up being overstimulated. And as a result, you end up having issues with your creative purpose, your creative nature, and being able to actually use your creative gifts. That's why you want to redirect that. you want to redirect that energy. And so you say, well, what can I replace it with? Okay, if I release myself from this external measure of pleasure, then what am I going to do in order to feel pleasure? Well, you put it into your gift. You put that energy into your gift. Okay, you have to create a zeal and a passion in your gift. So keep sharpening your gift. You feel yourself wanting to go for that, that chocolate cake, you know, replace it with some chocolate almond milk. You see what I'm saying? Or something like that. But you want to do the best that you can to release yourself from that external method of pleasure so that you can sharpen your gifts and see what your creative gifts are. So let me see. I don't want to make this too long. I'm going to just pull a few more cards. It's time to write that book. The world needs to hear your truth. So some of you are writers. Some of you have a book that you should be writing at this time. And that's where you need to be putting your creative focus. That's where you need to be putting your, sharpening your gift in that area of your life, whatever that looks like for you. And if you feel like, okay, well, how do I even start? Then now is the time to investigate that. What does an author need? How do you structure a book? Where do you begin? What's the best way to actually, you know how to do that. So if you okay, some of you, I'm hearing that you might be having writer's block. You already know that you're supposed to be writing a book, and you know what you're writing about, you know what you're supposed to be writing about, but you're having writer's block because there's something that you're depending on, some sort of external measure of pleasure that's blocking or overstimulating your sacral chakra, and it's causing you to have writer's block. Okay. So this is where the physical detox is really going to help you to keep sharpening your gifts and to keep working on that. And it's going to help you to detach from that external measure of pleasure. Let me see. This card was flipped over here. This says it's time to dance and celebrate your victory. So yeah, we have many things, many beautiful things that it's time for us to celebrate in. And you might as well start dancing and celebrating now. There's no need for you to wait for you to receive your material compensation or for you to receive whatever growth in your purpose. Dance and celebrate now, just knowing that you've been hand selected and chosen to do these things, okay? And that would also allow you to put that energy out there that lets the universe know, that, okay, this is, I'm ready to receive my gifts because I'm already in the energy of knowing that it's mine. I already have faith that it's mine already before I even receive it. And so, yes, my hands are free. I'm free of holding on to insecurity. I'm free of holding on to external measures of pleasure that's working against me. I'm free of holding on to the past and staying in my comfort zone. I'm now stepping outside of that and I'm moving towards my divine purpose because I know that I'm going to be successful. I know that I've overcome the worst things that have happened in my past, and now I'm ready to show the world who I truly am. I'm ready to reap the reward. Okay. Then you have here, keep rising. You are so close, so stay balanced. That's what we've been talking about, staying balanced internally, knowing that you are there. Okay, you're right here. Okay, so if you're feeling discouraged and feeling like, well, how long is it going to take? How far away is this thing? Just know that you're right there. So let me pull one more card here, and I'm gonna close out. If you found that this video resonates with you, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Sun gazing will energize you. So get out there and start doing your sun gazing. This is really going to help you a lot. Stay in nature. The sun is actually great for aligning your chakras and keeping you balanced internally, and actually for re-energizing you, recharging you. Okay, so get out there into the sunlight whenever you feel like you feel, too down or too boxed in. I love y'all. I'll talk to you all next time.